Question 22 says y equals a times x and y also equals b over x, and apparently they're going to intersect at two different points. One of them is given to us, -3, -2. It's our job to figure out what the other intersection point is going to be. Okay, so here's my two equations, and here's the point that they're telling me that it does go through. So my first thought is I would probably go ahead and plug these numbers in to the first equation, and you could then solve for a. You could also plug these numbers into the second equation, and solve for b. So a looks like it's 2/3 and b looks like it is 6. So if I take these two equations and we're trying to figure out when are these the same thing, if this equals y and that equals y, if they equal the same thing, then I can set them equal to each other like so. But now I can be more specific. I can say a is 2/3, b is 6, and so then I've got an equation that I can begin to solve. I don't like these fractions here, so the first thing I would do is multiply both sides by 3 and multiply both sides by x. Should get you to there. Divide both sides by 2 and take the square root of both sides. Remember, when you take the square root of both sides you get plus or minus. So it says x can be 3 or -3. Well, I already knew, or it was already given to us when x is -3 what y is. I'm not really interested in that one. I got that information. But the other point has to be when x is 3. So if we look at our choices, that could be choice D or E. Obviously, if that was just one choice, we would pick it and move on. But since we've got to figure out what the y value is, we got to do a little bit more work. So I can now substitute what I know x is into either this equation or that equation with the corresponding other point. So for example, I'll just use this one. If y equals b over x, and I'm trying to figure out what y is when x is 3, and I did that work to figure out that b is 6, then that would mean y would need to be 2. Back at our choices, 3, 2, that was choice D. So that would be sufficient, selected, and move on. Now, if you want to be extra sure, I guess you could also plug it in here. So it won't take but just another minute, so might as well. After all that work, I figured out that A is 2/3, and I'm trying to figure out when x is 3, what is y. So plug in 3 for x, don't know what y is, and you can see that times 3 divided by 3 would cancel out, and you get the same thing. Y would be 2 there. So a little more confirmation that y would be 2.